Joining me tonight are former Newcastle and West Ham manager Alan Pardew and former Tottenham manager Tim Sherwood. Welcome along, guys. Let's start with Manchester United. And just 3 weeks into the season, Ruben Amorim is under pressure like never before. 1 point from 2 games in the Premier League and an embarrassing EFL Cup exit at the hands of Grimsby. So he knew what to expect at his news conference today.
Every time that we have in the future one defeat like that, I'm going to be like that. I'm going to say sometimes I hate my players, sometimes I love my players, sometimes I want to defend my players. I think I cannot. This is my way of doing things, and I'm going to be like that. And I felt that in that moment I was so frustrated and annoying. And I know again that you have a lot of experienced people talking about the way I should perform with the media, to be more constant, to be more calm. I'm not going to be like that. So I'm trying to accept that, and I'm going to be who I am. And that's why I have the passion that I have. Sometimes I want to quit. Sometimes I want to be here for 20 years. Sometimes I love to be with my players. Sometimes I don't want to be with him. So again, I need to improve on that. It's going to be hard. But now I'm focused in the next game.
Well, guys, as I say, welcome along to Premier League Friday. I mean, firstly, Alan, what do you make of that from Ruben?
Well, you know, he's a sort of an expert in the press conferences. You know, I have to say, if he was going to do some sort of conference on how to deal with them, he's brilliant. You know, his manner and everything else. But the Grimsby game, he really got caught out. He got, you know, there are times as a manager, and Tim will tell you, where you get caught in the headlights a little bit, your head's gone. And he was gone the other night. And, you know, a lot of things he said kind of didn't add up. And it put himself under a lot of pressure. He's tried to rectify that today by sort of saying, you know, the emotion and everything else. But let's be honest, it wasn't his best night. Yeah,
I think, Tim, as well, would you agree that is kind of... It's a little bit damage limitation within a press conference where you're like, don't say anything else to, you know, further the flames. Do you think he's done well there?
He's not done well, no, not at all. But from the outside, we love it. I love him. I love his personality. Love his charisma. I don't like his football team, you know, which is the main thing. I'm not sure the Man United fans are loving it at the moment, or the owners or the directors of the football club. Listen. I've done that many a times, you know, and from the outside, I'm sitting there the other night, and today I'm saying, what are you talking about? Just keep your mouth shut. Yeah. And I'm sure people used to do that with me. Yeah. But ultimately, you end up sitting here. You know, you're out of the job. Yeah. And that's what's going to happen to him. It looks like the job's too big for him, Roman, at the moment. It really does. I mean, the other night with the tactics board, it was just embarrassing. You're 2-0 down to a League Two side. You're getting out-fought. Don't worry about tactics. It's not about tactics. If it was about tactics, you wouldn't be 2-0 down in the first place. Yeah. It's about passion. It's about desire. You're going to find no heart looking down at that board. Yeah. He needed help. He needed to be out there on the front. Not that he can do too much when you stand up there, but you can't hide in the dugout. You need to get out there on the touchline, and you need the perception even.
So it looks like you're facing it.
You're facing it with your fans and the millions of people around the world watching, the Man United fans, the biggest club in the world, and it looks like it's a little bit too big for him.
Just on the tactics board thing, you know, it was a fascinating thing, you know, both as managers. I mean, Alan, when you saw him there and he's got the tactics board out, I guess as a fan, you look at it and you're going, oh, it's Grimsby away. Surely, you know, you should have this all planned out. But is that a normal thing? Were you surprised to see it?
Well, I was surprised under the circumstances. You know, he's battling against the second division team and it's pouring with rain. I mean, it obviously looked poor. Yeah. The memes that we've all seen that people
have
changed.
That's not his fault, though.
No, I know.
I can't blame him
for the rain.
Yeah, one of the issues you always have as well, that you know, that when you was a player, you have to refer to when you was a player. Yeah. You actually not taking anything on when you're coming on the pitch. No. You just want to get on there and make a difference. Yeah. You just tell them where to play and they get on with it. You don't start getting tactic boards out because they're not even focused on that. I mean, the bottom line for him the other night was the fundamentals of the game they didn't cover. No. And if you don't do that in cup games, you're in trouble.
Well, that's the thing as well. A lot of people were obviously talking about the formation, you know, that system that Amorim has played throughout his career, obviously brought it to Manchester United last year and now carrying on into the new season. Can you blame a system in a game like that? No. Was that the problem?
No, you could pick 11 players who are signed to Manchester United. And let's credit They've done a good job.
Unbelievable.
They've done a
job.
fantastic job. You know, they set them up really well, but you know what they had? They had something under their shirt, and I never saw that from enough Man United players. Enough heart and drive and desire to want to cause an upset.
I think that's what Amorim was sort of suggesting after, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Sort of saying, you know, I've been here and it's really disappointed. I was looking for so much more from my players, and because what he felt was the spirit of Grimsby against the spirit of Man United on that particular occasion was not even.
Yeah.
One was a lot higher than the other.
But that's even more damning.
Yeah.
It's not that, we talk about the three at the back and he's so stubborn he won't change. But forget tactics. In this sort of a game, you could have picked 11 players and threw them onto that pitch and said, just play.
Yeah.
And they would have won that game. Just play. If you get the fundamentals right, what Alan's talking about, you win tackles, you win battles. The only thing can beat you is yourself here. And they weren't up for it. And they got caught short and they deserve to win the game.
Have you ever, though, been in that situation, you know, trying to obviously sympathise from where Amorim might be coming from in this thing of, you know, we've seen this whole string of people saying, you know, managers these days are very stubborn to their tactics. You know, you look at the Russell Martin situation with Southampton last season. Has there ever been a situation for you where you've been really wedded to an idea, you know, that you want to implement into your side, so much so that it's been almost self-defeating?
Absolutely. And, you know, you get particularly when you're on a losing run, you want to change things around, and so you commit to it, and you commit the training and everything to it, and then suddenly you're there on a Saturday afternoon after 15 minutes realising it ain't working. And you know that is the art for me of a great manager, to kind of swallow his pride a little bit and go, right, okay, half time, it's done. It ain't going. It's not working out for us. Let's go back to what we know and just do the job. So a lot of the philosophies and the managers carrying it through is actually, in my sense, lack of IQ, football IQ. You know, you've got to win the game. You're paid as a football manager by the owners to win games. That's your job, not to promote yourself or I'm, you know, super clever. It's about winning games.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that has been quite a struggle for him so far in his Man United career.
Afraid so.
Well, let's get another angle on this from the Athletic's Manchester United reporter, Laurie Whitwell. Laurie joins us now. Laurie, hello, mate. What have you...
Hi, guys. You OK?
Yeah, very well, thank you. I mean, look, Laurie, Grimsby, Wednesday night, it was always going to be one of those fixtures that everyone was going to be keeping an eye on. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, hello to Tim and Alan as well, as you, Roman. I used to cover the Midlands, so I had many entertaining press conferences with Alan and Tim when they were managers of West Brom and Aston Villa, so thanks for that. But yeah, Grimsby was an occasion unlike any I've experienced before, really, because of the atmosphere, the fact that it was, you know, a League Two team against Manchester United, and then United go and pay so poorly, and Grimsby were well worth their victory. Obviously, it took them to penalties in the end, but certainly they were the better team. And then we kind of wondered what kind of mood would Ruben Amorim be in afterwards, because he has had these kind of sort of episodes before, after the Brighton game last season, when he'd given the players a very stern talking to in the Old Trafford dressing room, and then up to us in the press conference and sort of called them the worst team in United's history. So, you know, we were then starting to hear the interviews that he was giving to the other outlets, you know, Radio 5 Live and TalkSport and the like. ITV was the big one where he sort of said, you can't change 22 players again. And that was the one where you're sort of thinking, OK, he's sort of thinking about his own position here again, because as reported on The Athletic previously, he did do that at the end of last season at different moments and was persuaded against sort of offering his position. And then he even spoke to us about that in Chicago when he was open about it. And this is one of the really good things about him from a journalistic point of view. You can ask him any question and he will answer it, and you can kind of have that human connection with him. So yeah, then it comes to the written sort of section, and where it's not a press conference because it's Grimsby Town. It's you know, they don't really have a room for that, so we're on the pitch and it's sort of just still raining a little bit, and we're kind of asking him in a huddle around each other. So yeah, I mean, my question to him was, what could you change now? And sort of his answer to that was, I don't know. I could give you a load of intelligent answers, as the guys have just been alluding to, in terms of tactics or whatever, but I actually don't have any answers to that, and that's, you know, a really concerning thing. And so I think that maybe is underneath it all, whatever about he might resign or not, and you know, he hates his players, he loves his players, he wants to quit or he wants to stay 20 years. I think actually having the answers as to how to retrieve this situation is the fundamental issue right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of Man United fans, you know, when he first came in, there was always that question of like, if it does go bad again, is there an option for Ruben to walk away? Are they going to see more managerial changes at Man United? Are we in a situation now where Ruben walking away from Manchester United is a real possibility?
I don't think so, ultimately. I mean, he's tempered what he said there over in the press conference. I think that when I spoke to people the day afterwards, this is something that has come through before from him, where he's sort of saying, I might resign, but I don't think he's ever really gone there with United. It's sort of part of his emotion that he has, I suppose. And I suppose there comes a point, how often can you say that and not sort of follow through with it? I do think that he's got tremendous affection for the staff that he's got there. I know the guys will know about this when, you go to football clubs, right, and you bring, some members of your team with you. He can perhaps afford to walk away. And he said previously, without a conversation about compensation. I don't know if that's because there's already a clause in his contract that would determine how much compensation he'd get. But there's also this element of him wanting to protect the people that he's brought with him. And obviously they're not, on the kind of same money that he is. So I don't personally think that he will walk away. And equally, I don't think that the club are minded at all to terminate his contract, because I think they're absolutely, together with him, aligned, and their reputations are with his as much as, his own reputation as a football manager.
Absolutely. And we've got the hot topic of Kobbie Mainoo to cover as well, because he was asked about it today. Is there a possibility that Kobbie could leave? He was adamant that Kobbie is going to stay and fight for his place. As a Man United fan yourself, do you see Kobbie at all in a position where he might not be a Man United player next week?
United are insisting he's going to stay, but certainly it's a live issue because he wants more minutes. It's a World Cup year, and he's obviously not in Thomas Tuchel's England squad, even though he started the European Championship final in 2024. So yeah, I think it's been an issue that's been bubbling along all summer, really, because I think he sort of saw that he wasn't going to be, given those kind of minutes consistently. And the idea would be, from his point of view, alone, so that therefore you can go away, get those minutes, come back. I don't think he wants to sever ties entirely, but it is certainly a live topic. And yeah, at the moment, United are saying they won't sanction that. I think they also themselves, different points over the summer, have looked at whether a sale is possible, because he is one of these assets that could generate a lot of money, and he doesn't quite fit, it seems to me, what Ruben Amorim wants from his midfielders. The athleticism, the up and down nature of what he wants from that number 8 position. He sees him competing with Bruno Fernandes, and that's something that I think shows him that he's going to struggle for minutes this season, because you just don't drop Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, Laurie, thank you so much, mate, and we'll speak soon. Thank you so much. Well, look, guys, you hear it from there, from Laurie, obviously big reporter, Man United fan himself. There is that real sense, especially around a player like Kobbie Mainoo, that has got such massive ties with not just the team, with the city, being an academy graduate. Do you see, if you do end up selling Kobbie, is that a failure in just the club and the management side?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know why he doesn't like Kobbie Mainoo. I really don't. He was a superstar a couple of years ago. Come onto the scene, got in the England squad, went to the tournament. I think he's a fantastic player. I think he's flexible as well. I think he can play as an 8. You hear Laurie there talking about, has he got the athleticism to get up and down? Of course he has. He's a young man, Yeah. Or if he hasn't, we'll build it into him. But he certainly has. I've seen it. I've seen all these attributes. He's got everything, that boy. I'm not sure what his attitude's like. So the only thing I point to, I'm not saying he's got a bad attitude, but the only reason I can see why he's not playing is because the manager doesn't fancy him. And for some reason, obviously, Ruben Amorim wants to win football matches.
Yeah.
And Kobbie Mainoo, for me, is one of their better midfield players, but he's not getting a look in. And you have to look elsewhere. If he's saying, like he come out and said the other night, he's fighting for one position with Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. Yes, you can drop Bruno Fernandes, or push him forward, but you've just signed 2 players in Burmo and Cunha in them 10 positions. It's going to be very difficult for him to get a game. So I would say to him, I heard what you said. I can play other positions, I'm a decent 6. I can play as an 8. I'm flexible. I've got the attributes to play in different positions.
Do you think?
But you don't recognise it, which worries me, Gaffer.
Yeah.
That was what I would be saying to him.
But that's interesting. I mean, Alan, do you think Kobbie will be having those conversations with the manager? Will be saying, look, I can do
sounds like he
else.
has, because he's got a transfer request in to go on loan. More or less made it. I mean, the thing that you think about Man United, when I look at Man United, I look at the leadership of the team. And you think back of the great old sides of Man United, there is no leadership in that team, in my opinion. Yeah. Bruno doesn't do the job, not in the way he should, for me. So I think his position is under threat a little bit, and Mainoo should put him under pressure. Yeah. The other problem you got with Mainoo, which is really important, is that he's pure profit for Man United. Now, financially, we all know, with all the layoffs and all the changes they've made in the background, with catering staff, etc., the cutting costs, are they really up against it? In which case he might have to go, like so many of the young players who have just recently gone out of Man United. Garnacho being one of them.
Yeah, Alanga, McTominay, Rashford.
If I was a Man United fan, I'd be really, really disappointed if he leaves the football club. Yeah. Really. I think he's a terrific player.